Wow. Wow. Hello. So much to catch up on. Some of this stuff, I can't make some of this stuff up that's happened over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Trust me on that. So today I kind of want to do a get ready with me, more so like a catch up because there's just been so much going on. If you guys follow me on my community tab on my YouTube, like my actual YouTube page and the community tab, I've kind of kept you guys up to date as to what has been going on. To an extent, I haven't went into a lot of detail, but there's a lot to catch you up on. So if you want to chill out, get ready with me, put some makeup on, talk about life and things in general, then keep on watching. So I'm going to try and make sure to keep doing my makeup so this video isn't like an hour long. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to sit here and show you the makeup or tell you the makeup I'm going to be using. I'm just going to kind of do it and go with the flow. This is more of like a story time type of video. I will try to remember to list all the products down below if you guys even care. But let's go ahead with this crazy ass story. Well, crazy ass stories, plural for sure. So right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, if you don't know, I was diagnosed with 2 huge kidney stones. So how it started was I was at work one morning, and this might be a little TMI, but I'm not one to hold back, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys everything without even caring if it's gross or not. So I work usually 8 to 3. So right around the time I got to work, I had to pee. So I go to the bathroom and I noticed my pee was like pop colored, like Coca-Cola colored. That's how dark my pee was. It was dark brown. I was like, what the hell? Like, that's weird. So I kind of just didn't worry too much about it, went back to work, and I was noticing more frequent urination. So my first thought was the color and me having to go more than usual. I was thinking a UTI. I've had one before in the past and it was god awful. I thought I was going to die because that's how horrible the pain was. So I'm like, I have a UTI. I don't want to leave work. I'm fine. I'm not really having any symptoms other than the frequent urination and my pee being that dark of color. So went back to work, no big deal. I kind of, it kind of got a little bit worse during the day, but not a lot. So after work, I went home and I work at a dog groomer, so I take a shower and I'm like, screw it, I'll just go to the closest ER. I have an ER like 3 minutes from my house. I'm like, I'll go up there, get this taken care of. It'll be quick, easy, get some meds and go home. Not that easy. They decide to obviously do a urinalysis, and they wanted to do a CAT scan. I believe it was a CAT scan, where they put the dye up in you to kind of check everything. And the result of that, from what they said, now let me catch you up on this. The normal hospital, like where all my pulmonologists are, if you don't know, I have cystic fibrosis. My normal doctors and everything is downtown. And this one is probably, I live about a half an hour from my normal physician's office. So my normal hospital. So they take the scans and whatnot and come back and they diagnose me with a life-threatening condition, stating that my bowels or my intestines are twisted and I have to go into emergency surgery. My husband and I's mouths, we could not pick them up from the floor. We were in tears. Like, I'm like, do I call my parents? Like, it was a show at that point. I'm like, holy shit. I came in because I thought I had a UTI, but now they're telling me at that point, like, you're in a life-threatening crisis. You need to go into emergency surgery. They saw, now we know what they saw was me having cystic fibrosis, me having DIOS, which is basically like chronic bowel issues. That's what a lot of CFers have. We have a lot of constipation, just a lot of stomach issues in general. That's normal. That's my life. Hi, welcome to my life. And this hospital just is not equipped to deal with CFers. That's not their specialty there. So what they see is one thing, whereas my normal physicians or my normal cystic fibrosis doctors, they know how to treat, they know what's going on when it comes to CF. So our question was, well, then what's causing my urine to be brown, dark brown? And they said, your intestines being twisted is pushing up against your bladder, which is causing irritation to your bladder, which is causing you to pee blood. So at the time, it really didn't make sense. And I did tell them, I'm like, understand that with CF and all the chronic constipation and stomach problems I have, the pain, I wasn't even really having any pain. I was having some cramping at this point, was completely different than any like constipation or backed up pain I've ever had. I've had several obstructions in my life and things going on. I'm like, I'm not having that kind of pain at all whatsoever. So it was really hard for me to think that what they were telling me was true. But of course, they're the doctors. I'm just going along with what they said. I didn't want to offend anybody. I mean, I did say that. I'm like, it's not that kind of pain, but okay. So they told me even my intestines being twisted, I wouldn't have any pain, which I disagree with. I would think if my intestines were twisted and kind of in a knot and blocking off and being killed off, blocking blood flow, I think I would be in quite a bit of pain when you think common sense might say, you know? So I'm just going with it. I'm thinking I'm about to go to emergency surgery. They tell me they're not comfortable with doing it there and to get me down to UC, which is my normal hospital. So they take me by ambulance down to my normal hospital and take me right into the ICU. And after a couple hours, at that point, they had put a tube up my nose, down my throat, and into my stomach. And about 2:30 in the morning, my CF doctors came in kind of laughing and chuckling and saying, you do not have twisted intestines. You have some constipation going on, which is normal for you. However, you do have 2 kidney stones, which is what's causing you to pee that color. So, of course, we're like, are you fucking kidding me? So they end up coming in, taking the tube out, making me do Go Lightly, which is just something you drink to like flush your intestines out and whatnot. Not my first rodeo with that. And then send me home the next day because they scheduled me for a PCNL, which is a surgery that they go in through my back and get the kidney stones because apparently they are huge. So I go on about my day the next day. They scheduled my surgery for Halloween, October 31st. So I actually they said, you need to go see a urologist after you leave here, make an appointment and go see the urologist. So I do. I go in that next Wednesday to see my urologist, and she's showing me how big they are, my kidney stones are, and they said usually a 5 millimeter stone anything larger than a 5 millimeter stone will not pass on its own. I had one 8.9 millimeter stone and I have one 16 millimeter stone. So they are not passing. But what's crazy is that night or that late afternoon, my urologist appointment that day was at, I think, 10. And at that point, I really wasn't even having any symptoms. Again, just like the cramping, nothing crazy, no flank pain, like no lower back pain, no intense crazy pain that you hear people talk about when they have kidney stones because they aren't going to pass. When the pain comes, it's because they're trying to pass. Well, my 2 guys were still in my kidneys, so I wasn't having any of that intense crazy pain yet. So, after all that, and that's when they scheduled me for the surgery on the 31st. After all of that, I go home. I'm doing my breathing treatment. I fall asleep on the couch. This was on a Wednesday. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, I gotta pee. I go to pee and go downstairs to the laundry room to get some laundry, come back upstairs. And that was only like maybe a 2-minute going down the stairs, took me 2 minutes coming back up. By the time I got back upstairs, I am on the floor in like the fetal position in the most excruciating, intense, crazy pain I've ever had in my life. I've never felt pain like this in my life. What happened was the smaller of the two stones tried to pass. He said, you know what, F this. I'm coming out of the kidney and I'm going to try and pass. No. Big boy, you were too big to pass. So what did he do? He got stuck in my ureter trying to go down and pass. So that's what sent me into this horrible pain. I call my mom. I'm like bawling my eyes out, like short of breath because the pain. If you've never had a kidney stone, you have no idea the amount of pain that happens with a kidney stone. So she rushes to get me. I go back to the stupid hospital that said I was in a life-threatening crisis and they misdiagnosed me and wanted to do emergency surgery and all that kind of stuff because it was the closest hospital again, and I just wanted help. I needed something to help with this pain. So our dumbasses decided to go back to this hospital because it was close, and I don't care what anybody says. If you're in that amount of pain, you don't care where the hell you go at that point. You just need some relief. So go to the ER again. Go to the ER there. I finally, after 2 doses of morphine that didn't touch the pain, 2 doses did not touch that pain. They gave me something stronger that finally helped with the pain. And they ended up admitting me because they were considering doing the PCNL, going in through my back to get the stones, while I was there in that hospital. So again, the thing about this hospital is they are just not equipped to deal with cystic fibrosis. We go in isolation when we go in the hospital, so gown, gloves, and masks have to be worn to protect us from any of the germs or anything else in the hospital. So I had to apparently educate these people on isolation because they never have to deal with isolation. I had to tell numerous doctors, can you please put at least a mask and gloves on or something? Like, I didn't want anybody in my room because it's flu season, and I'm like, the last thing I need to do right now before surgery is get sick. So, because if I was to get sick before surgery, they would push the surgery back, and I'm like, no way in hell am I getting the surgery pushed back. I need these out of me. So they didn't have any medications to give me. Like, this is a hospital. They didn't have the correct breathing machines. Their respiratory therapist, like, I was educating the respiratory therapist there on how to take care of a CFer. Apparently, they haven't had a CFer in that hospital since 2011 or 2013, something like that. And I'm like, Jesus. So, horribly wrong decision to go there. But again, I just needed some pain relief. So the problem was, we were waiting for me to get transferred to my normal hospital, but my normal hospital didn't have any hospital beds. So I had to stay at this dumb-ass hospital for like 2 days, waiting on a bed to come. And the urologists at this hospital were just god-awful, spoke to me like I was a piece of shit, kept trying to still tell me it was a bowel obstruction. And I'm just like, it blows my mind that doctors are so stubborn and so much on their high horse. Not all doctors, but a lot of doctors I've noticed through my life. How dare a patient know more than you? You know what I mean? And I just wish more doctors would listen to their patients, because maybe it would put things more into perspective and you look outside of the box. A lot of doctors don't like to look outside of the box. They know I have cystic fibrosis, but they always want to pinpoint everything to have cystic fibrosis. An example of that would be when I had my blood clot. I kept saying, something is wrong with me, something is wrong with me. And my head feels like it's going to explode. That's literally how I felt when I had my blood clot, that my head was going to effing explode. And I got diagnosed twice with a sinus infection. And lo and behold, I had a huge blood clot right over my superior vena cava that almost killed me. Before anybody listened to me, my lips were turning blue and I couldn't breathe. That's when they're finally like, oh, maybe this isn't a CF related sinus infection. Well, no shit. So it's just running into certain doctors like that really just, it sucks because some of them just don't want to listen to you. So anyway, I feel like this video is just a bitch fest and I hate that it's being that, but I mean, in all honesty, I'm just trying to tell you what happened and how much crazy has been going on over the past 3 to 4 weeks, because literally it was crazy. And this hospital tried to access my chest port. Oh my God. It was, oh my God. So you have to make a sterile field when accessing a chest port. Like, you have to have a chest port kit. There's just certain ways to access a chest port because I mean, you can get a blood infection, you can get all kinds of things, and this thing is going right to your heart. So you have to be very careful when it comes to accessing somebody's chest port. This nurse comes in to access my chest port. She comes in, she puts gloves on outside of my door. You're supposed to have sterile gloves that come in a kit and not touch anything because you're touching somebody's chest port. She comes in and I see her with no kit, and she has a port needle, an unopened port needle in her hand, and opens that, lays it on my little desk by my bed, starts digging in her pockets, opening cabinets, comes back to access me, and I pull my shirt down. I'm like, absolutely not. And I was just shocked that she was going to access my chest port like that. So I opted to have IVs, which I am a horrible stick. And I think it took like 5 times for them to access my, or get an IV in me. So I had to deal with that because these people have no idea how to access a chest port a correct way. So that was another thing that I was like, are you effing kidding me? Get me out of this hospital, you know what I mean? So finally, 2 days later, I had to ride in another ambulance because they wouldn't let me leave. I guess, that's protocol. If you're inpatient, you can't just leave unless they discharge you, which is fine, whatever. I was kind of just rolling with it. I was just happy to get out of that hospital. And I was scheduled for, apparently they had scheduled me for a surgery. So so I went in on a Wednesday. I got transferred on a Saturday. That Monday, I was told I was getting surgery. Like, they moved my surgery up. I was going to get these kidney stones taken out. I'm like, hallelujah, I'm just very happy. And a urologist comes in and says, there's no surgery scheduled for Monday. And I'm like, now say what now? And he's like, yeah, you're still scheduled on the 31st. So I'm upset. At this point, I was a lunatic because I was so frustrated. I had felt like I had been put through the ringer. There was miscommunication all over the damn place. I would cry at the drop of a hat just because I was so sensitive, and just everything that had been going on and everything I had been going through. It's just nothing was going how it was supposed to, everything just had to be so complicated. And plus being in pain, and it was horrible. So, and I'm usually a pretty go with the flow person, but I was just getting so uneasy at this point. Like, I had just had a very stern conversation with the doctors. Like, this is crazy. What's going on? How are you going to tell me that I have surgery? And then, but there's been no surgery scheduled, and you're still sticking to the surgery that's on the 31st, So anyway, they wanted to stick to the surgery on the 31st, which fine, whatever. However, that Monday they did fit me in for a stent. So they put a stent in. I believe it's the size of about like a coffee stir, and it attaches to my kidney, like the ureter part between my kidney and my bladder. And it helps with those spasms because I still had that kidney stone stuck in my ureter. So the thing was, they were telling me, the first hospital, the horrible hospital that I was going to, they were telling me they wanted to send me home. At this point, I think I was still like 3 weeks away from Halloween, from my surgery. They wanted to send me home on Oxycontin to take every 3 to 4 hours for 3 weeks. And I said, absolutely not. First off, because I don't care who you are, addiction does not discriminate. And I don't want to become addicted to Oxycontin. And then secondly, because it's so hard on your stomach and constipation and all that, I'm just adding to the horrible stuff that's already, that already happens to me. And I said, absolutely not. We need to come up with a different plan here, people. So they did fit me in that Monday for a stent, and I got a stent put in, which helps relieve all of the symptoms, which it did, thank the Lord Jesus. I didn't really have any problems with this stent. So that was a huge pain relief, and I had the stent for at least about 2.5 weeks. In the meantime, between that, I had an uncle that passed away. So it was like another thing to add to the list that was really upsetting. So I had to deal with the passing of my uncle. And then now here we are, finally at, trying to think here. Yeah, so then Thursday, today's Saturday. Thursday, I was supposed to go in and have both of the kidney stones removed. Well, with CF, they don't like keeping you under for more than 2 hours just for safety reasons and breathing reasons. And I was over the 2-hour mark at this point. So they called the surgery. They were only able to get the first, the smaller of the two stones, and they went up through like they did with the stent and lasered that stone, and were able to get all of that out of fragments. They sucked all the fragments out. So they were able to get that stone, and then now I have to go in and get another surgery. Now I'm getting the PCNL when they'll go into my back and get the bigger stone. So I don't know when that surgery is supposed to be. I've called twice yesterday and left voicemails, but of course nobody's calling me back. So it's just been crazy. And when they left the stent in, when they took the smaller of the two stones out, the next one, I think what they'll do with the PCNL is, again, going through my back, get the bigger one, break it up, and I think I'll have like a tube in my back. I can't remember. But anyway, they'll go in and get that, but I think they'll take this stent out and put in a thread stent, so there'll be like a piece of thread that hangs out, and I can literally pull the stent out myself, I think after a week from the surgery. So that's a little nerve-wracking to have to pull that out myself. I'm like, I gotta pull that out myself. Apparently it really doesn't hurt, but yeah, that's been my October. Welcome to my October. They're gonna send the stones off for a biopsy to see what kind I have, because there's different kinds of stones, and I want to know what kind I have so I can make the dietary changes. So here's our theory. When I say our theory, I mean me and my family's theory when it comes to me getting these stones. So all my life with CF, I haven't had to ever worry about what I eat. And a lot of what happens with CF is that we don't get enough salt in our diet. So we're supposed to have a lot of salt. And I could always eat a lot of salt. I crave salt because my body doesn't get the salt it's supposed to have. So I've always eaten what I've wanted. I never gained weight. So when I started the new drug, Vertex, I think now it's called Trifacta. What is it called now? Trifacta? Shoot. Trikafta. I think it's how you pronounce it. Whatever. I'll write it on here. But I think with the new drug I've been on, I think my body is able to absorb the salt and absorb things that it never has been able to do before because of this drug. And I've been on this drug since January. and I was in the study last year, so now it's approved. It got approved about 3 weeks ago. But I think that is probably a contributor on top of my horrible diet, because I'll be honest with you, I would eat a lot of microwavable foods, which is loaded with salt. I would eat just pure shit. A lot of deli meats, drink a lot of pop, drink a lot of coffee, things like that that can contribute to kidney stones. There's a lot more that contributes to kidney stones, but I am trying. So I've already cut out pop. I cut out pop about 3 weeks ago. I'm switching to decaf coffee. And they say a lot of animal protein will cause kidney stones too, which I do eat a lot of meat. But here's the thing. Here's the diet. They didn't particularly put me on this diet, but I had done my research and they gave me some paperwork on what can cause kidney stones and what to kind of back off on. But the diet is impossible, because let me tell you, I won't even be able to list everything that apparently contributes to kidney stones. So apparently there's high oxalate foods that can contribute to kidney stones, which is like spinach, potatoes, rhubarb, cocoa powder, trying to think what else, like caffeine, like or coffee, chocolate, things like that that are really high in oxalate foods. First off, I'm not cutting out chocolate. There's no effing way in the whole wide world I could ever cut out chocolate. But I really didn't eat rhubarb. I did eat a lot of spinach. Animal protein is another one. And when I say animal protein, I mean all meats and then eggs on top of that. They say you can't have whole grains. They say you can't have canned foods, jarred foods, processed foods. Basically having to go on like a low sodium diet, which everything is loaded with salt. It's insanity how much salt is in things. Obviously no microwavable foods, cereals. I mean, there's no way I could become vegan. There's no way. I don't want to be vegan. I'm a big animal. I'm a big meat eater, so I don't want to become vegan. That's not happening. Yeah, they even said fish. I mean, it's insanity. It's almost like, well, what am I allowed to have? You know what I mean? That's the better question. Even my friend said that. She's like, I think the better question is, what are you allowed to have? And it's like, it's crazy, you know. Beans is another one. You're not supposed to have beans. Oh, it's just so frustrating. Condiments, like a lot of condiments you can't have. And I'm just like, so what am I supposed to live on? A carrot and banana every day? Like, there's no way. Like, it's just impossible and illogical, the kidney diet or whatever they want you on. And I get everything in moderation, but Jesus Christ. Like, I've switched to like, so I used to eat, you know, a lot of breakfast sandwiches. So I cut that. I was like, oh, I'll eat some oatmeal, but then they don't want you to have whole grains or oats, things like that. So I bought that, not even thinking. I'm like, oh, this is quite healthy. There's no salt in it. Maybe I'll add like a little bit of honey on it or something. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm not supposed to have whole grains, which is crazy. And then, um, so I'm like trying to eat some Cheerios, but then they don't want you to have dairy. Dairy's another thing they don't want you to have. They don't want you to have cheese. And I'm like, what am I allowed to have here? This is insanity. So, I mean, I'm trying my best. Of course, it's definitely not perfect, because like the CF diet is supposed to be like 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day. And when I'm eating vegetables and fruits and like trying to watch the salt intake and what I'm eating, I've already lost a lot of weight. Like, it's crazy just over the past 3 weeks how much weight I've lost, just because my body's like, what are you doing to me? All I'm drinking is water. I'm just now transitioning to decaf coffee. So, and really I'm not even worried about the decaf coffee, because I simply enjoy coffee for the flavor. I don't really even care about the caffeine part of it. But like right here, this is, I'm drinking 3 of these a day. I'm trying to drink 3 liters of water a day because, well, I'm supposed to because of the kidney stones. But yeah, so this little diet here is just not working out. I need to really talk to them about what I really am allowed to eat, what I'm allowed to have, what I'm not allowed to have. And I'm also thinking that if I truly cut down on the high oxalate foods, just basically like potatoes, spinach, because I did eat a lot of that. Those kind of foods, I'm kind of thinking maybe that's a good thing. The caffeine, just trying to eat healthier in general. It wouldn't be a bad thing. Obviously, no microwave foods at all whatsoever. I'm buying all reduced sodium stuff. I'm adding no salt to anything when I cook. So I'm trying to just eat better, think about things more about like what I'm eating. Fast food, no, really cut down on that. Eating out, no, I'm eating a lot of salads. I found low sodium dressings. Like there's a lot of options. It's just frustrating because I love to cook and it's not as fun right now to cook. So it's been a struggle, and I'm probably being dramatic about the diet because I know people that have had kidney stones and they really didn't change their lifestyle that much and they've never had another one. So maybe just for me, making certain changes will help with not getting another one, because from what my urologists have told me, usually if you get one, you'll get them again. But the reason for that is because people don't make the dietary changes that they're supposed to be doing when it comes to whichever kind of kidney stones they have. And kidney stones can be hereditary too. So some people can't get away from them even if they tried. It's just part of their life, which I feel so bad for anybody that has to deal with kidney stones on a regular basis. Sorry about my voice. Ever since the anesthesia, they put the tube down, the breathing tube down, my voice has been very hoarse. I think this is the most talking I've done since I got the surgery on Thursday. But anyway, I feel like this is a really serious, bitchy, complainy video. And I apologize for that. Not my normal self quite yet, but I think you're pretty much caught up on everything. I hope it made sense. I've probably went all over the place. So I'm going to talk about happier things now because this is like bringing me down, man. Bringing me down. I'm going to use the Jawbreaker palette for my eyes today. I don't think I'm going to do anything crazy because honestly, I'm going to the store. I'm not doing anything today. But I want to use this palette because of the huge launch that happened yesterday. Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. Huge shout out and congratulations to them. That launch was insanity. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. I was able to get the conspiracy palette, which I'm still shocked about that I was even able to get it. I was like waiting on the Jeffree Star Cosmetics website like 5 minutes before launch. Like I had it in my cart, and then the happened, which if you were part of yesterday, you understand what the hell happened. It all crashed. His website crashed, and then I think Morphe crashed. And I got on Twitter after like 10 minutes, like, what is going on? Like, is the website going to be back up? I had this stuff in my cart. It's like frozen. And I had read this tweet from somebody said, I got on Beautylish with no issues and I got everything. And I'm like, oh, totally forgot about Beauty Bay. Totally forgot about Beautylish. So I rushed over to Beautylish real quick and got the palette right before it went down. So in overall, like 21 minutes, I believe is what it was. It was like 1:21 our time when it launched. And going back and forth between all the different retailers that were selling it, and finally got it. So it comes Tuesday. Of course, I'll do a review if you guys want me to. I'm just so excited. I've never done that before. I've never got online and waited on a launch or waited on a palette before. Never done that. Never tried to get something. I think what it was is because I have been watching the series, and I've been a huge Jeffree Star fan for years. Of course, I've loved Shane Dawson for years as well. And then when them two came together, it was like a match made in heaven whenever they became friends a couple years ago. So I just thoroughly enjoy their friendship. It's so genuine, and it's hard to find people and good friends like that. So I really just adore their friendship. So I really wanted to support that and buy the palette. I have not been working since all this has been going on, so I'm trying to like budget myself. and only was just trying to go after the big conspiracy palette. That's all I really wanted, and I'm just glad I got it. I get that Tuesday, so I'm hoping, depending on what time I get it Tuesday, I'll film with it. If it comes earlier in the day, if not, I'll film it Wednesday. So hopefully I can have a review or just like a tutorial with it on Thursday, depending. I don't know, don't hold me to it. The latest probably on Friday. Oh, another thing that happened in this past crazy 3 weeks, we had to evict tenants. So we had to do a set out and everything. They were supposed to be out September 1st. And they were not. They kept staying in the house. And finally, we had to go down with a group of friends on a Monday. And I think it was last Monday, not this past Monday, but the Monday before. No, it was this past Monday. And literally set their out on the curb. They weren't there. They had technically moved at that point the day before. But so that was another crazy thing that happened. It was just like the month of October has really tested our patience, man. Like when it rains, it mother pours. That's all I can say, for real. I was really trying to get more Halloween videos up for you guys. I had another one planned. I had made something to film with, not another prosthetic. It was just like a headpiece, and I wasn't able to film just with everything going on. So maybe next year if I remember. But with me and making my own prosthetic, I'm so much more comfortable now, even though it was like a trial run with that prosthetic. It wasn't the best. I wish it would have turned out better, but I mean, for my first ever attempt and try, I wasn't that mad about it. So I worked really hard on that, and I'm really proud of how that turned out, for it being my first time. So, and I really like that video. I love the intro to that video. I worked really hard on that intro, and I really hope you guys like that, because that took a while to do. Wow, my TV just turned on by itself. That is weird. So I'm going to go ahead and put some lashes on and come back to my lips and wrap this video up. All right, you guys, I had to put my hat on because it is freezing in our house. I have not turned on the heat, or we have not turned on the heat, because the weather right now is fluctuating, because I think like even Monday it's going to get back up to like 60. So I like a cold house. I don't know about you guys, but I like layering and like bundling up, getting under covers. Like that is my thing. I hate being hot. Have to sleep with a fan on. My husband wants to kill me right now because it's dropping down to like 30 at night, but I gotta have my fan on. He barely wants to get out of bed in the morning because he's so cold. But I'm like, I cannot sleep when I'm hot at all. I hate it. I hate sweating. I hate being hot. Hell no. I like a cold house. So I wanted to put my hat on because my hair right now is a disaster. This is a new one I got. This is Crazy for Coffee. Now it's going to be for me Crazy for Decaf Coffee. This is a pretty shade. Oh, it's by L'Oreal. It's oh no, just kidding. It's by Maybelline. It's number 275, but it's a very pretty fall shade. But my lips are so unbelievably chapped. I have got to go in with some lip gloss. Oh yeah. Okay guys, so that is it for this video. I'm glad I was able to kind of vent and get you guys caught up and let you know what's been going on and why my channel hasn't been consistent with uploads. Because I didn't want you guys to think I was just not uploading because I was being lazy or didn't want to. It was just things happened, life happened, unexpected things happened, and that were out of my control. So I wanted to film a catch up, get ready with me, chit chat, because you guys, I feel like you guys deserve to know what's going on. My battery's about to die. That's how long I've been talking. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next one, my Shane Dawson conspiracy palette video. I will see you on that one. Thanks for watching. Bye.